Hey gearheads, and welcome to Garage Talk. I'm Corey and this is the 2024 Hyundai Palisade XRT. And in this video, I'm going to tell you why this $45,000 family 3-row SUV with an off-road bent may be the perfect vehicle to catch the solar eclipse. Stay tuned. All right, gearheads, I know what you're saying. The eclipse already happened, and I know that because, well, I'm already wearing, there we go, my Eclipse glasses. Yes, I was lucky enough to be in the path of totality here in my hometown of Tyler, Texas for the 2024 eclipse, but there is another one coming in like 20 years. And that's not to say that we have not road tripped this vehicle. This has been a great road trip vehicle, because we also took it on a trip to Austin, and I'm gonna get into all of that here in this video, what made it perfect for our family of three, and some, yes, mild Eclipse humor throughout. But the first thing I wanna bring up, while we've got this view of the front of the vehicle, is this is a twin with the Kia Telluride. The Kia Telluride has been taking all the headlines and been getting a majority of the sales because of its boxy shape. And yes, Hyundai did respond with a boxier facelift to this one, but there are some things on this that I like a whole lot better than the Kia Telluride for maybe a lifetime of use, to say if you were going to buy a 2024 model and keep it until that next solar eclipse to pass through the United States. And that starts here with the windshield. The Kia Telluride has this weird kind of notch cut out in the windshield, kind of like the Ford F-150. And I have heard from windshield techs that that's not a great design when it comes to replacing a windshield. So if you ever had to, the Hyundai Palisade is definitely the better of the two vehicles in that regards. But we will go ahead and start under the hood and talk about some of the things that made this so great on our road trip to Austin, Texas while we had it, and some other things that worked out well for us here in the path of totality. First and foremost, starting underneath the hood, this is perhaps the last V6 we will see from Hyundai for a little bit of time, because they just recently resumed research and development on internal combustion engines, because the brand as a whole was looking really heavily into a fully electric future, and now they're investing more into hybrids. That is not to say that this V6, when it bows out, won't be replaced with another 6-cylinder. It'll probably be a Turbo 4, but here we get a 3.8 liter naturally aspirated V6 making 291 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque, made it to an 8-speed automatic with active on-demand all-wheel drive and a center locking, but more or less an all-wheel drive locking differential and torque vectoring control. We have several different drive modes and a lot to make this thing fun, but it isn't really a true off-roader. Like I mentioned when we started the video, this has an off-road bent, but I really see this more as a dark appearance package than I do a real off-road package. The XRT versions of the 2024 Santa Fe, which I got to drive, and the 2025 Santa Cruz, which I am yet to drive, take the XRT trim up a notch from this one. This really is just a dark appearance package more than anything else, and we'll get into all of that. I do like the dark appearance of this one, especially with this kind of charcoal gray paint and the blacked out grille. I really like the calligraphy trim, which is the top trim for all of its luxury touches, but it is very blingy up front. This one is a little more darked out, kind of like a solar eclipse, if you will. I had to get it in there. You know I did. I've got more coming, so just be warned. This will be a very cringy review. Other things to help you out through an eclipse: LED lights all the way around, running lights, fog lights, turn signals, all the things. And they give a very distinct look when they are powered on. I really like the emphasis, the direction that Hyundai took from the Tucson and Santa Cruz with these integrated grille looking segments for the turn signals and hazard lights. The Tucson and Santa Cruz take it up a notch And then we get these very bold vertical running lights that really emphasize the boxy shape, the boxy size of this vehicle, and really lean into that boxy design direction that Hyundai seems to be committed to with that new Santa Fe. This Palisade, though, definitely is a looker. It has gotten a lot of comments while we've had it, including both school pickup lines that we've taken Tucker to in this one. All the teachers were oohing and awing over this one. They really liked it. There is a lot to like visually about it. And I already mentioned some of the distinctions from the Kia Telluride that may have you looking at this versus the Telluride. When it comes to that off-road bent, you can see here we've got black wheels wrapped in Hankook tires. These are not off-road tires, not even in the slightest. They are dark finished wheels as well to go with that dark package. But yes, nothing really off-road worthy about these 245/50R 20-inch Hankook tires. They are Venturas. They're not an off-road tire. Just look right here. That should tell you all that you need to know. It really is an on-road tire, and given the problems that we had with the all-terrain tires that we had on the Honda Ridgeline Trail Sport, especially over on our GT Premium channel, I can tell you these things would not do a lick of good in the East Texas dirt that we subjected that Ridgeline through and to. But there are some other off-road bent items to this besides the dark front, the dark wheels, and that is this lower body cladding. You can see it is a little more rough and tumble and can take a little more abuse than if we had a painted lower rocker sill there. And then if you look up top, if the massive cargo area that I'm about to show you in the back is not enough, we do get these roof rails up top for adding more cargo, and you can see the Hyundai logo right here is in the key portion, so you twist that and unlock it and you can remove it because, well, that does play into your fuel economy. It does cut back on fuel economy ever so slightly the more wind resistance you have, and that definitely plays into it. That being said, on our trip to Austin, Texas and back, I never really heard them. They were very quiet up there. There is quite a bit of air in between the vehicle and the roof rails. I don't know if that played into it, but there was no whistle or drone of noise from them up above us there. The Palisade was designed in what I like to call Hyundai's more conservative era versus what we are seeing now with the Tucson, with the Santa Cruz, and definitely with that new boxy Santa Fe. This one is a more traditional design when you look at it, especially when it first came out. The softer front grille on it versus the boxier look here. And then you still get some very curious and very interesting design choices from the Hyundai designers on this one that made it stand out, even though it was a little more laid back in its approach. Like this satin window trim here that just dips off in front of the back window here. So many other designers would have taken that all the way back to the back up there and would have probably followed suit, kept this black right here and followed suit with this one back here and just had a completely black window box. But not Hyundai designers. They wanted to make things look just a little bit different, and I applaud them for not going with convention. I do believe the designers at Hyundai, at Kia, and Genesis are pushing other automotive designers to think outside the box a little bit more, and I am totally here for it. We know that their designers have been winning awards left and right, including Sang-Yup Lee, who won Automotive Designer of the Year last year. I do believe that was for the Ioniq 6. He did famously also pin one of the favorite cars that I've ever owned in my Camaro SS. So I'm a little partial to his work and design. As we move around back to the back, we can see some other design elements back here on the Palisade that do make it stand out and look a little bit different. We do, of course, get all the black lower cladding because it is the XRT, but I really like this little inset here on the hatch right next to the taillight. that is just a little bit of bright work that breaks up and gives more visual distinction to the back of the vehicle. We do have full LED lights back here, which is nice. So many times you see the turn signals on the back of the vehicle still be incandescent, but it's nice to have fully LED lights, which again helps when a certain solar body or I should say certain lunar body passes in front of the sun to, you know, make it dark in the middle of the day. Other things I really like back here is the fact that if you are an automotive eccentric like me, and you like to name your vehicles, well, Hyundai really thought of you with this large Palisade across the back. You just pop off the P, the A, the D, and the E, and you've got Lisa. And I can say that because we actually have a Lisa driving around town that I see quite frequently. So there is that. I can't do it right now because the vehicle's running, but I'll put some B-roll over of the smart hatch system on this. You just have to have the key in your pocket. With your hands full, you walk up to the back of the vehicle, it beeps a few times at you, and then the hatch opens, allowing you to put in all your gear from road tripping or loading up all the camp chairs to sit out in the middle of the field and watch the moon pass in front of the sun, which, yes, we literally just did. These have not left the vehicle since putting them back in the vehicle moments ago from witnessing the solar eclipse. But I really like that. There is a lot of room back here, even with the third row of seats up. 18 cubic feet, I do believe, which is very nice and very usable. You can see just how wide it is back here and how much I was able to get in. I've even got my backpack back there. So we've got plenty of room all the way across. You fold the seats down and you get 46 cubic feet of space and up to 87 cubic feet of space all the way around. So very nice on the storage back here in the back. But I'm gonna go ahead and start pulling some of this out because there's more that I have to show you once we get all of these chairs out, which you can see, yeah, I was able to pack a lot of chairs in here without problem. We do have a carpeted rear floor mat, which I would have loved to have seen a hard rubber one because you can see all the dust and stuff and leaves and organic matter from all those chairs has made its way in here and is probably gonna stay here. We've got the same carpeted material back here, but we do have a bag hook. So we could have hung one bag back here, I guess. But more storage underneath, and I do believe I could fit at least 2, maybe 3 of those chairs down below here. If we did have the roller shade, you can hide that roller shade underneath here very nicely, and then it is very discreetly hidden. When it comes to folding the seats down, it is made very easy with these manual latches right there. And of course, yeah, I did that, so that's gonna be harder to pull back up. But then, yes, look at how much room you have with the seats folded down. Very nice, very roomy. And you can see you've got options. You can just leave the seatbelt hanging loose right here, or Hyundai gives you a couple of latches right there or storage spots right there. They actually give you that at all 4 outboard seating positions. So you can see just how we have all of those set up there. While we're back here, while the lighting's a little bit better, I can talk about 2 cup holders back on either side back here. And then there on the side, you can see that right there is where you would actually put that roller shade if we had it to install. If I need some more room back here, I'm gonna go ahead and push this button here, which folds that seat flat. And then you can see we've got massive amounts of room back here. Very much like a minivan. Tucker and I had a picnic back here. Tucker took a nap back here. It was a very nice place to hang out on our road trip. Liked it very much, and we were able to get a lot of stuff in here. And unfortunately, I can't fold that one down because its car seat is in there currently. But yes, if you go see our family review, be sure and hit subscribe so you see that when it comes out. You'll see just how easy it is to install that. Now I'm gonna reach all the way forward here and pull these seats up because you know I'm about to climb back here in the back to show you just how much room is in all 3 seats. And well, yeah, I've got to have a little bit of leeway and have those seats already up. You can do it from the other side, but it is so much easier from here. Very easy to close the hatch. You saw the hatch close button was up top. As we come around to the side, before we climb in, I do want to talk about the Hyundai Key. It is their old Key that I like better than the one that they are currently using on their new products. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go see my Hyundai Kona review or my Ioniq 5 and 6 reviews and my Santa Fe review. It looks like the Hyundai H when you turn it sideways. It's big, it's bulky. This is nice and compact and very well built. All the buttons are on it that you need it. I wish they had kept this design. I'm not a fan of the new one. It's just so unfortunate that they went away from that. You don't need it out though, because as I mentioned, we already have the smart access rear hatch. We also have passive entry up here. You just put your hand on the back of the front doors and it unlocks. You can push that square right there and it will lock. It is only on the front door, so if you've got a loaded kid in the back, you're gonna have to unlock the doors from the front and then move back to the back. As we get inside this one, you can see there are a lot of nice materials and textures in this one that I like a lot, and a lot of storage options. This handhold is very large, and you can see we've got a rubber mat at the bottom of it, so you can pull that out to clean it if you have to. If you put anything in here, it's not really going to rattle, and like it's big enough for an iPhone 14 Pro Max, which is very nice. Down here you can see we've got a place for a bottle as well as some other storage. Coming around to the seats, you can see multi-way positional seat with two-way lumbar, but unfortunately on the XRT trim there is no memory seat setting on this one, which is a downfall of this particular trim as we have it equipped today. So that is one thing I wish that this one had, especially with Holly and I being different heights. But you can see this is where we start with the interesting material, and it is kind of prone to scratching, but I can just move my finger back. Very interesting. That is actually the first time I've really noticed that. Another thing that really shows me that this isn't a true off-road model, we have carpeted floor mats instead of rubberized floor mats. Even the Honda Ridgeline and Honda Passports and, well, I guess Honda Pilots that we've had have all had rubber floor mats. So if you're really going to do an off-road one, rubberized floor mats really need to be the name of the game. We'll go ahead and move in here out of the Texas humidity. Go ahead and turn that off. Spin that wheel around and take a look at all the gauges and buttons in here. We'll start over my left knee. Your brightness controls, your towing options right here, your traction control off. There's your hatch button, and you have a power or electronically actuated parking brake right there. So moving to the steering wheel, tilt telescoping, but it is a manual tilt and telescoping. We've got all your controls for your driver assistance stuff on here, right over here. This does have adaptive cruise control, which I really like. It does have lane keeping and lane centering, and we can page through multiple different things on this rather smallish center screen. You may think that this is a full digital display because, well, that's digital, all the stuff down there is digital. It is not. This very much is ripped out of the last Kia Soul that we drove. So we've got like this Casio watch style display for your speed and your RPMs. The only customizable section is this very small screen here in the middle. If you step up to higher trims like that calligraphy I keep bringing up, you get a full 12.3 inch screen there. Another thing that lets you know this was designed in another era for Hyundai is it's not like this big sweeping curved design, twin 12.3 inch screen or anything like that. You've got the recessed screen in here around all this shiny black plastic, which isn't really in a place that you're going to be touching it much, but it can collect dust even being vertical, so there is that. And if it catches the light just right, you may get a bit of glare in your face. Otherwise, it's a very clean design, very linear, very much accentuating the width of this vehicle. You've got this faux air vent going all the way across that, again, likes to accumulate dust. And then all these different creases that, too, can accumulate dust, which not so great. We get more of that material. It's a metallic looking material, but it is very much like a plastic. And this was another problem for me. Of course, we've got clouds in the sky now that the eclipse is over. But this, with the sunroof open, did just glare tremendously at me, which you can roll that out of the way, which exposes your two cup holders. You've got a Qi wireless charger. And another thing that shows that this is old school Hyundai, wired only Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with a USB-A type plug, not even a USB-C type plug. I'm going to go ahead and bring my phone around and we'll plug it in. And then you can, just kind of shove it in here, close that if you wanted. But yeah, generally I left it open. Otherwise, I really like the Apple CarPlay interface. Very easy to reach up here, very easy to use. The whole thing is very quick and snappy to get through. The Hyundai screen is updated with a lot of their new stuff. You've got Hyundai Pay in here, all the different things that you have come to expect from a Hyundai product in here, ready to use. Down here, physical controls, physical volume, physical tuning, quick access buttons. Love all of that. They've actually brought that back to Tucson and Santa Cruz. Physical controls for the climate stuff right here with tri-zone climate right here. Really like that. Multiple different ways in which you could do a medium, low, or high on this automatic. You can hit sync right there, sync everything up, and you're good to go. I really like how it's on this raised panel. So it's looking at you a little bit, but it's not like completely vertical. It's just very easy to use. I'm not as big a fan of push button transmission controls, but here you are. That's what you got here. They are also getting rid of that for the steering stalk mounted little twisty thing here, like we saw on the Santa Fe. So I fully expect this to be gone in the next iteration of the Palisade. Here's your drive mode controller, again with that locking center diff. It really is just all-wheel drive lock, but you can see we've got Eco, Snow, Comfort, Sport, and Smart. And when you turn it to Sport, the gauges turn reddish, pinkish, hueish, but yeah. Otherwise, they're blue. Downhill descent control, again, not my favorite because you can't adjust the speed. It holds it at like 2 miles per hour. Parking sensors button. This one only has a rear camera, which I wish it had 360 cameras. That was one of the downsides I said to the Santa Fe when I drove it. Really wanted a front-facing camera, especially going uphill. Really would come in handy even with this vehicle. I've got a 13-degree incline driveway that I'm like pointed at the sky, and then when I get to the top, I have to make a 90-degree turn. It would be really nice if I could see what is waiting for me at the top of the hill with a front-facing camera. We don't get that here on the XRT. You have to go up to top trims. You also don't get ventilated seats. You only get heated front seats on the XRT. So just some things I've noted, but otherwise a couple cup holders that can rotate out of the way and disappear. Open this up, you've got a lot of storage in here, which is very nice. And speaking of storage, because you have buttons for your transmission, you have storage down here for a sweater for when your wife gets cold, when the sun is hidden behind the moon. So that is very nice. You can hide that down there very nicely. There is additional USB storage in there. Additional, not USB storage, but USB power down there, USB power here, and a cigarette lighter style power. So lots of power options in here, lots of storage options. We've got a decently sized glove box right there. Go ahead and talk about $45,100 on the window sticker, 19 city, 24 highway, 21 combined on the fuel economy, which really isn't bad for a naturally aspirated V6. Seats are nice and comfortable, really nicely bolstered, but they're not leather. They're synthetic leather, the Syntex or H-Tex as Hyundai calls it. But I really like how they hug you. The bolsters are very nice, though the seat bottom itself felt like it was just a little too thinly padded right here for our 4-hour journey to Austin. Just a note from a long time in the car. Sitting here, I'm very comfortable, plenty of headroom. We only have a standard size sunroof with a manual shade here, which isn't a huge problem. Also, the materials could be nicer in the calligraphy. I know when we had the top trim of the Telluride, we had the suede headliner, things that you sacrifice for a lower price tag. Visibility out of the back, I've already put the headrests up for when I climb back there, but visibility is actually very good all the way around in this. And we've got big windows all the way around as well. But that's enough of the front seat. Want me to be cool again? Yeah. I can literally see nothing right now. It's all black. So let's hope I don't run into anything. I can only see in my periphery. So let's see, the door. Yeah, the door's right there, but I can't do a whole review like this, so we'll flip up my cool shades again. And I will show you some of my favorite features back here on the back doors. You can see one of them already is put into place. Sunshades built into the vehicle's doors that cover like 99%. It's not full totality. We're not in the path of totality back here, kind of like those suckers in Louisiana. Sorry guys, but we have a little bit of sun peeking through the shades here. Otherwise, very good sunshades, much better than the suction cup ones. We do get very large pockets here 2 cup holders here, which is nice, varying sizes with a bottle holder there. I still left that seat down just to show you we do have a top tether back here, but it is more carpeted material back on the back, and I'm gonna have to like two-hand this. Yep, I'm gonna have to two-hand it to get it back up and into place. And these are actually sliding seats. We'll talk about that once I climb in. As I climb in, close the door, the seating position is just a little bit higher than what is up front, so I did lose a little bit of headroom, but my view is a little bit like stadium seating over the front, so I've got a nice view. I do have temperature controls back here for my tri-zone AC with air vents in the ceiling, which I really like. The Santa Fe still uses them here in the door. So if you are looking for a big Hyundai 3-row SUV with a better placement of air vents, especially for like a rear-facing car seat, that was one of our biggest downfalls, I guess, when picking a vehicle for a rear-facing child seat was where the air vents are placed in the back. I really like having them in the ceiling and having controls back here. You can see we've got more power back here. We've got a couple of map pockets here. We've got USB-C power in both of the front seats, which is a very nice touch. And then I already showed you the cup holders. We do have armrests that ratchet into place back here on both seats, which is nice. Let's see, get it where I want it, which is nice. A little bit of storage here. You could probably like put your phone there, but I left my phone plugged in up there, so I can't show you. I did tell you these are sliding seats, and you can see just how far forward they come and back. And we'll go ahead and pan back to me. They are reclining seats, and they give you a nice recline, give you a very nice view out of the little sliver of a roof, sunroof up there. Again, not full totality of sunlight coming through here either. But yes, very comfortable second row seats, plenty of legroom back here. But now is the moment of truth. Go ahead and pop out, and we have a button right there and right there. Unfortunately for us as parents with a kid in a car seat, you can see it folds the seat back forward. So I cannot do that with Tucker's child seat in place. That is perhaps the biggest downfall of this vehicle as a family vehicle for us right now at this moment. There are other vehicles in this class, including the Nissan Pathfinder, that do allow you to get into the back seat a little bit easier with that car seat in place. Yes, since we have bench seats, I could climb through the middle. I will also note there is a bump, a step up here to the middle, so the floor is higher here than it is down here. We do have some steps to climb into the 3-person back seat. I call that out because the Santa Fe, again, is a 2-person third row seat. So some advantages to going to the bigger Palisade versus the smaller Santa Fe when looking within just the Hyundai lineup. I already mentioned how you can tuck these away. I'll go ahead and show you here. Just slide that in there and put that in. Now I've got a clear, nice shot to get into that back seat. I will go ahead and note before I climb in though, that you do have lower anchor points for a child seat only on the driver's side of the vehicle, not in the center, even though the center seat does have a rear top tether latch point, but not so here all the way across in the back seat. Climbing in is fairly easy. I do have a handle right here. Go ahead and show you that handle so you can climb in and get into the back seat. We have this strap here to recline it if you want. Otherwise, I already showed you some of the amenities back here. We don't have any sunshades for these back windows, but we do have some air vents, which I really like. And then coming to me, decent headroom. Like I could hit if we hit a bump, let's face it, but not too bad. Knees are a little bit higher up because again, the floor is a little bit higher up back here in the back than up there. We'll go ahead and pull this all the way back and put it in its most upright place. And you can see my knees aren't touching like the hairs of my knees are, but my knees are not touching. So with some proper negotiation with a second row passenger, I think 2 adults could ride back here very comfortably, or 3 children. Let's go ahead and test out that recline. See what that recline is like. You really had to pull it, my goodness, to get it to recline. That actually made headroom worse, actually. So don't recline it, right upright. But yeah, there we go. That is enough of the tour of this one. I'm gonna load all that gear back in the back, and I'm actually gonna take off, show you what this thing is like to drive around town. Okay, setting off, we are off-road. This is about the extent of the off-road use one of these should see. I'm not gonna say is going to see, should see. And that is really just getting off pavement into some ruts and some uneven ground, because there really isn't much that separates this for off-road use versus any of the other trims. 20-inch wheels, those aren't off-road wheels. You really want more sidewall than that. I would expect 18s at the most. But yeah, we get 20s here, which I guess they're nice. You know, it rides fine here in this field. But again, this is about the extent of what you would actually want to do in one of these. And it's quiet, it's calm, it's comfortable in here. I'm not being beat up. It's nice. We have downhill descent control that, again, I don't really like to use because it locks you at 2 miles per hour, and that's just so slow. You can't adjust it like you can in other vehicles. Otherwise, we have put a lot of highway miles on this. I don't know if you noticed the odometer when we were doing the tour, but over 680 miles on this one so far, 22.5 mpg during that time. Now, I did mention a 4-hour trip one way to Austin, and yes, 4 hours back. So in that, there is that highway mileage in there, but we also got stuck in traffic. I had it idling while I was filming back there. I had 2 school pickup lines that I had to do. There was a lot of sitting and idling. There was city traffic, stuff like that, that this thing has overcome quite well. 22.5 mpg is not anything bad. Getting this thing out on the highway, I'm not even in sport mode right now. That V6 does move you. It is plenty powerful to get this vehicle going. It doesn't feel overmatched or overworked. And yes, you can turn it to sport, which I think really just adjusts where the 8-speed transmission kicks in versus in comfort, which you can hear it's holding the gears a little bit longer for me in sport. Driving this around, though, you don't want to drive it in sport. You want to leave it in comfort. It is more comfortable, go figure, here in sport mode. I mean, comfort mode, not sport mode. I'll get it right here in a second. But otherwise, it is a generally pleasant vehicle to ride around in. Again, 4 hours one way, and my only major complaint about my seat time in this vehicle, well, is my seat. The seat cushion, the seat bottom, just feels a little too thinly padded for long haul road trips like that one across the state of Texas. I could use just a little more padding where a majority of my weight is currently sitting. And we'll just leave it at that. Yes, that is it. Otherwise, very comfortable in here. I would love to have the memory seat settings, which are available on other trims for Holly and myself, because there's about a 9 to 10 inch difference between the two of us, and 9 to 10 inches is quite a bit when it comes to your seating position. Otherwise, driving this around, as I mentioned, visibility is good, power is good, the steering is light and not just so heavy that you have to work at turning the wheel. A few nitpicks I have are about to come into play here as I come to a full stop. The engine start-stop in this is a little bit much. It's a little too much, and you can defeat that with that button right there. And then getting out and moving in front of traffic, come on, let's go. When it starts going, it's good and good to go. So this really has been a great vehicle for navigating city traffic. And while I don't have the digital blind spot cameras, surround view monitors, whatever Hyundai calls them in their marketing, I do have blind spot warnings on my mirrors. If I put my blinker on, I get an audible chime that, hey, something's over there. So really, this has been a great vehicle. And at $45,000, it is a really good bargain, because you also get the America's Best warranty. When you buy this, you get Blue Link Plus free for the time, for the length that you own this. So there's a lot of good baked into this. Hyundai is really sweetening the deal, sweetening the pot, and making this a very compelling vehicle all the way around. I really like it. If you want to see what it was like for our family on our road trip, absolutely hit that subscribe button down below. Ring the bell so you are notified when that video drops. Find us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, Threads, YouTube, you name it, everything at GT Garage Talk, or you can go to gtgaragetalk.com. But as for me, in the 2024 Hyundai Palisade XRT, until next time, gearheads, bye. Flip, oh, can't see.